If you're over 35, you've probably considered hormone replacement therapy. Supposedly burns fat, builds muscle, makes you feel like you're 18 again. Is this true? And what are the symptoms that you may benefit from hormone replacement therapy? Today, we're going to go over all the symptoms, some well-known, some not so well-known, that you may benefit from doing this. Let's get into it.
I think everybody's going to probably fall into this category.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I just think, I don't know, has your guys' position, I mean, mine's changed or evolved around, obviously in my 20s, I did steroids as a kid and knowing damn well that I didn't need them and they were probably bad for me. And then later realized how many of my clients, as they got into their 40s and beyond, this was like life-changing for them. And so there's definitely a abuse and bad side of it that I think the general population is more aware of. And then there's the other side of like people that it can be life-changing for. And I think that a lot of people don't get that part because of the way the general practitioners typically talk about this.
I would say hormone replacement therapy is probably more of a panacea. I hate using that word because it's not a panacea. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it's more valuable, I believe, for women than it is for men as they get older. Not saying it's not valuable for men. I think if you're a candidate, it's going to be incredible for you. But what you see with women in perimenopause, which starts to happen late 30s, and then menopause, right, a little later, is you see, if you were to look at a chart of prescriptions for things like anxiolytics or antidepressants, let's just say, things that we typically take or are prescribed because we don't feel good or we don't feel like ourselves, you see that spike as women go through menopause. And if you were to take another chart and were to look at women who went on hormone replacement therapy and how they felt before and after, a lot of the symptoms that they tend to get treatments for, and again, I'm going to be clear, I'm not a doctor, so you'd want to go to a doctor for this, but you see the symptoms that they often get treatments for with pharmaceuticals are some of the same exact symptoms that get solved with hormone replacement therapy. And hormone replacement therapy is, according to the data, healthier for you. Now, I also want to say this, exercise and good diet needs to be a part of this. Like pushing young hormones through your body when you're inflammatory and unhealthy is probably not good, right? It's probably not a good idea, both for men and women.
Not to mention that sometimes diet and exercise solves this for a lot of people.
No, good point. Absolutely good point. But I think what we'll do is let's go through the symptoms. And some of these are both for men and women. Some of them are just for women. And let's talk about them. And some of these are common. Ones that if you were to ask somebody, they might be able to, throw them out. Others not so common, but rather are common complaints of getting older that actually are a result of hormones changing. Because hormones drive so many functions in the body. So this is a big deal, everybody. Like when your hormones change, a lot of things changes. And I'll start with the first one. You start to get this unexplained weight gain, or to be more specific, the way you store body fat changes suddenly. Now, I remember this as a trainer training clients. A majority of my clients were women. That's just the way it is for personal training. And a majority of those women were women who were either perimenopausal or menopausal, because that's the category of people that tends to be able to afford personal training. And I would hear this all the time. I'm storing body fat in my belly.
Yeah.
That never happened
in the belly before. It was usually elsewhere. It was like hips and back of the arms. Now it's in the belly.
Yeah. Or I'm getting like weird cellulite that I never had before. Things just look different. I don't understand what's happening. Or what I would hear from men is, I'm doing what I've always done. Nothing's really changed, which, by the way, as a young trainer, my apologies. I thought they were just not telling the truth or not aware. But they would say things like, I'm doing everything the same. I'm suddenly gaining body fat, and I don't know what's happening. Hormones they can drive fat loss or fat storage, and they can change how you store body fat. And what you'll see in both men and women is an increase in visceral body fat, but in women in particular, they start to store body fat in their belly. What you'll see with men, by the way, is they'll start to store body fat like women. So if a man's hormones are really, really off, he suddenly starts to store body fat in his upper chest, in hips, and he's like, I don't know, what's going on.
I got a jiggly butt now.
You get that pear shape. The guy will sort of get that pear shape when he's when they're off.
Yes. So, but this is unexplained. Okay. So again, it's going to require some awareness. So if you're like, I don't know what's happening, but then you look back, like, well, you like crap. I'm not working out. Yeah. That's probably what's causing it.
Were you guys? I mean, when I think of a category of clients that I train, menopausal women were the most intimidating thing for me to train.
Very difficult.
Oh yeah.
Because of this exact reason right here is because they would be describing something that I couldn't explain. Their doctors couldn't quite explain. Yeah. And so
you're limited to the tools that which is,
and like you, I was just like, when I do the calorie counting and the figuring all that out and they're telling me they're doing all that stuff, I'm just like, it ain't adding up. I just assumed that they had to been lying. But I did know enough though, that enough women had told me that the opposite, that something was going on.
Yeah.
Originally the first few, it might've been like, oh yeah, she's lying. She's just probably eating on the side and not telling me or whatever. But as that started to happen more and more, I realized like something else is going on here that I don't have the tools and the resources to communicate this. So that was always a really intimidating client in my early years as a personal trainer. It wasn't until later on that I started to meet like hormone specialists and people that actually specialized in helping both women and men that go through stuff like this, and realize that the general practitioner just didn't have all the resources. They just did not have all the tools to support these people, and they were just giving them terrible advice. And so, of course, don't feel as bad now because I realized like it went that far all the way to the general practitioner. But I always struggled having those clients.
I had a few clients. This, when it became more obvious to me, was later in my career when I would have clients that were training with me, and they were good. They were consistent. They're working out with me. They're active on their own. Their diet was relatively good. And they would be with me for a few years. And then they would go on hormone replacement therapy. And it was like, whoa, what is happening? I mean, I can think of a couple times where both men and women, where they would train with me, they'd go on hormone replacement therapy. And within 3 to 6 months, we would just see these radical changes. Like, I'm like, oh my God, this is like a big difference. Now, I expected it from the men because I had experience with anabolic steroids, so I knew what that did. But with the women, it was like, oh my God, like this is really making a big difference in your performance in here and how you feel and how lean you're getting. Like this is pretty wild. And oftentimes they would eat more and get leaner as the muscle started to build.
Yeah, to your earlier point, that's what really shifted my mindset, was seeing that progress and success with my female clients that I was applying everything I could. We were addressing sleep. We were trying and even like my client who had retired and now is like not in such demand and not being woken up in the middle of the night all the time, like finally seeing some progress, but there was just nothing that was really accelerating that. And once she got on hormone replacement therapy, it was like, it's just like this physiological switch just happened. And, and for me, it's always been a big stigma because I was an athlete and I was around a lot of like anabolic steroids, and I just was so adamant to not be a part of that, and to see just what a difference that made and transformation that made within like my clients. Like it was crazy to me to see that, and then see like there really is something here that we're missing.
Today's giveaway is MAPS Anabolic Advanced. If you want to win, leave a comment below this video the first 24 hours that we drop it. Also, subscribe to this channel and also turn on notifications. Do all those things if you win. We'll let you know in the comment section if you get that program. Also, we have a sale. MAPS Split and the Anabolic Metabolism bundle of programs. All of that is half off. Just head over to mapsfitnessproducts.com and then use the code July50 for that discount. Back to the show. Yeah, and again, to be clear, we've had experts on the show who are hormone experts, doctors, and what they'll say is that hormone replacement therapy plus exercise, diet, lifestyle for someone who needs it is healthy in comparison to that same person doing everything right without the hormone replacement therapy. Hormone replacement therapy without exercise and diet now becomes much more of a let's see what's going on
ideal.
Here. The next one is muscle weakness or muscle loss. Again, kind of unexplained. This is what I experienced. So I experienced this in my late 30s. I just started noticing this real dramatic decline in my ability to handle volume and training, and I'm kind of like losing muscle. I was like, what is going on? This is very different than it was just a few years ago. Come to find out, my testosterone was in the floor and it made a huge difference. This is true for both men and women, though. It's like, and you'll know this if you are consistently working out. So this is one of those. This is the person that has been exercising this whole time, and then suddenly, why am I losing strength? Why am I losing muscle? Change the workout. Still happening. Reduce the volume. Still not reversing. This is very strange. It's kind of in that category of I can't figure this out. This seems to be a bit unexplained. The next one is blood sugar changes. So this happens, like you see with men in low testosterone, as muscle loss starts to happen and you start to see their blood sugar starts to kind of suddenly change. You'll see this in women as well. Again, I would use the context of I've been doing everything consistently and now suddenly this is becoming kind of an issue. I don't understand what's going on. Low energy is another one. This is a more common one. This is the kind of low energy that feels crushing.
Yeah.
I'm getting more sleep.
Almost like mild depression.
Yes. It's like I'm getting more sleep. I'm doing, I don't understand what's happening. I don't have motivation. I don't have energy. By the way, you feel this dramatic shift in energy when you finally get the hormones right with hormone therapy. It's like the lights were turned on.
Less of a grind. Everything's a grind before that.
That's right. That's right. And now we'll get into some of the less common ones. Brain fog. So I looked this one up. This happens about 40% of people who benefit from hormone replacement therapy.
What is causing brain fog?
Your brain, all the functions of the body are driven by hormones. And when your hormones move into it, again, lack of a better term, a suboptimal range, it feels like you can't get the words. I can't remember the thing. I don't understand.
Is it like a firing thing, you think? Is it like not firing the way it should fire? Like what is?
Yeah. It could be insulin sensitivity changes.
Well, maybe we're not using carbohydrates correctly.
Yeah. And by the way, this is more commonly described in women.
Yeah. Is it hypothyroidism?
Thyroid plays a
brain fog.
Huge role in this one.
Yeah.
And you'll hear this more commonly in women where they're like, I'm just forgetting stuff. I just don't understand what's going on.
I heard that a lot.
40% of people will feel this one. The next one, this one is not as commonly known, but it's common. 30 to 50% of people who benefit from hormone replacement therapy just start feeling more aches and pains. And this is what I would hear. This is what I've heard from friends and clients who went on hormone replacement therapy. They before they were on it, they'd be like, I wake up, I feel like I hit by a car. I don't understand.
Every joint is achy.
Yeah, I suddenly have stiffness and achiness in my body that I didn't have before. I'm stretching, I'm exercising. I just don't get it. I just feel stiff and achy. Thyroid, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, growth hormone, all of those will play a role
contributors,
in all the things that we're talking about, including aches and pains. Dry skin or brittle nails is another one. That could also be a nutrient deficiency, but if your nutrients are good, what is going on? Again, that's what people will typically say. Low libido and vaginal dryness is another one. I think those are more common.
Those are way more common.
Yeah, those are commonly understood. I think in men in particular, low testosterone, one of the first things that, by the way, you don't have to get low libido.
Sort of the first red flags. Yeah.
So this didn't happen to me.
You were an example of this.
This didn't happen.
I remember
to me.
when I first was asking you back then, you're like, no, I'm fine. My libido's fine. So you think that it's going to be that way, but you're an example of somebody who had low testosterone, but libido.
I had all these other symptoms, but I did not have low libido. And then just so people know, when I got tested, my total testosterone was under 230, just like in the floor. And yet I still had a libido because libido is driven by a lot of different things. But most men in particular, when their testosterone starts to drop, they just don't have the drive. They just don't have the drive anymore. Mm-hmm. And then finally, mood changes. Now, again, this is out of ordinary mood changes, okay? And also, let me just warn people, I wouldn't use this as a way to talk to your partner.
Yeah, weaponize it.
Probably won't work very well.
Not going to work.
Yeah. Hey, I think you need some hormone replacement therapy.
But I mean, but let me tell you, when hormones are off, one of the craziest things I ever felt when I went through that phase of coming off and then trying to go natural and feeling my hormones fluctuate like that, really total mood changes. Emotional, find myself almost ready to cry on a commercial I would never cry over, and upset, tired.
Michelin tire commercial.
I mean, I could really feel the difference of that. So I think this one is too a little also more common too. It's like you will feel a difference hormonally when they're out of whack. I mean, you can feel that.
Totally. And, but just personal anecdote. So my wife now, she's now on hormone replacement therapy, and it has been a total game changer. Now, she had some of these symptoms. Her sleep was not good for a while. But then, of course, we had kids. So we thought, it's the kids. But then the kids are sleeping well. She's still not getting good sleep. Mm-hmm. Energy was just not great. So that was a big one. The brain fog was worse. But then as the kids got a little older, got a little better, but it wasn't back to how she was before. So that wasn't a big one. Here was the big one. Physical aches and pains. Mm-hmm. Energy and physical aches and pains. My poor wife seemed to have a problem all the time. And I felt so bad for her. She would tell me that, like, there's something always wrong with me. It's either my back or my jaw or my neck. She's like, I don't understand what's going on. We would look at her exercise technique, her form, massage, chiropractor would help. Just couldn't figure it out. She just recently, she's doing because here's the deal with women in hormone replacement therapy versus men. Men often can get away with just doing testosterone. Oftentimes women need to go on a multifaceted approach. So it's typically not just one hormone for women. It typically looks like some progesterone, some testosterone, and some thyroid. Whereas men, oftentimes, it's like, we'll just go on testosterone and everything else seems to be okay. So she did the progesterone, thyroid, a little bit of testosterone. The last thing we added was the thyroid. And it was like, boom, instantly different.
Now, is she communicating that too?
Oh, yeah.
She's like, wow.
She's like, this is crazy. I feel way different, way better. She used to get up in the morning and it would take her an hour just to get moving. Mm-hmm. And now she gets up and she's like, got energy, just feels so much better. And this is just the early stages. As far as the aesthetic changes, that takes months. So she's like, I'm excited to see what happens and how my body responds.
Wow.
But it's really, really wild. And, I was talking to Dr. Lauren Fitz, who I absolutely love. She's the one that's helping Jessica right now with all of this. I asked her, I said, do you think, because I've made this statement on the podcast, but I'm like, let me ask her, do you think a lot of women are given prescription antidepressants and anxiolytics when all they really need is hormone replacement therapy? And she's like, yes, absolutely. 100%, which is crazy, which is wild when you think about it.
Well, okay, so how much are the doctors incentivized to go that direction versus the other direction?
Well, the problem with the hormone, unless you're a hormone specialist, and you have to be a bit forward thinking, is they have these ranges.
Yeah, I know.
And they don't base it off of symptoms. They look at the ranges.
That's it.
Right. And so a good hormone specialist looks at both symptoms and ranges. Yeah. So that's the problem. The other problem is that what they're trained on is anxiety treatment, depression treatment. And we have pharmaceuticals for those things. Yeah. It's not...
It can get you to feel a bit better by just like alleviating some of the psychological
stress. That's right. Plus hormones, here's my little conspiracy, part of me. Hormones are generic. Progesterone, testosterone,
well, that's why
thyroid.
That was my point. That was my point. Is there a monetary reason why they tend to go that way? Because I know that pharmaceuticals are far more expensive than hormones are.
They are. And so so you have. When you balance out your hormones, the side effects are what? Improved quality of life, better health. SSRIs. We talked about libido. Have you seen the data on SSRIs and what they do to libido?
Yeah, no. It kills it.
Oh yeah, it crushes it. And anxiolytics can be very addicting, and coming off them can cause really bad. And again, if you're on either one of those or both, don't just drop them and go on hormone replacement therapy. You got to work with a doctor to figure this out, because it could be scary to just come off things like that. But yeah, I think that's just how they're trained. So unless you go to like a forward-thinking hormone replacement therapy clinic, what you're going to get is, you're within range. So, it's, maybe it's something else or whatever.
This will help you deal with it.
Yeah. For example, if you're a man and your total testosterone is 350, which is on the low end, your general practitioner is not going to recommend testosterone replacement therapy, even if you have all the symptoms. You go to a hormone therapy clinic and you talk to a doctor there and they see you at 350, plus you have a lot of these symptoms, like, we're going to put you on testosterone, so long as you're okay with it, we'll put you on and let's see how you feel. That's how they approach it.
Well, the reason why, so the audience knows like why that's so absurd to me, is that the range is 400 to like 1100.
No, it's 300 typically to 1100. Typically is what the general practitioner range is.
I thought it was 300 to 1100.
Yeah,
or 400 to 11. You say it's 300.
Yeah, usually.
Okay, so it's 300 to 1100. So even wider range to my point. So you have somebody who, let's say, all of their teenage years, all of their 20s, even their early 30s, cruised around 950, not even the top, not even 1100, 950, which is healthy. It's like Doug, right? Cruising around at 950 most of their life. All of a sudden they get to their late 30s or early 40s, and 950 goes down to 400. That's half.
Yeah.
That's half. And
you're going to feel like crap.
Yeah. So to think that, okay, you're not in these, ranges where we're very concerned, where you get below 300, because if you were below 300, even the general practitioner goes, hey, we probably need to get some testosterone. Yeah. But if you're just hovering around the bottom and you're not through the floor, that you're fine. When it's like, man, all the things that you're talking about symptoms wise, you for sure going to feel those if you go from 900 to 400, and most of your adult life you've felt 900. And so it's so interesting to me that they don't consider that, even at the general practitioner level.
They don't, but remember, hormones, in particular testosterone, is a performance-enhancing drug also. So that caused all of this to go sideways, because it is if you're an athlete and you go out on big doses of testosterone, way outside the range, you're going to get stronger, faster, all that stuff. So once it got branded that way, it's like it put everything 10 steps behind. Mm-hmm. So that's number one. Then there's all the risks associated with taking those doses, not replacement doses.
Yeah, not replacement doses.
The data on replacement doses is amazing. So if you go from suboptimal to optimal, you have an improvement in quality of life. You're healthier.
Any idea when the first clinic was introduced? When was the first hormone replacement therapy clinic?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Yeah. A while now, right?
Yeah,
at least a couple decades.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you have over a couple decades of probably tens of thousands of patients of data that we have access to. So it's weird to me that is still something that is touted, is that it's this performance enhancing. Oh, that's dangerous. It could be pro-cancerous. All the alarmist things that are said about it. Why are we not coming forward with more data? And you don't have to bring people's personal information. You can just use them as a patient 1, patient 2 data of showing people. When is this? 1900s.
Well, but that's not the way we're talking about it. I see what they're talking about though. Yeah, they were messing with hormones back then. I mean, we know that in World War II the Nazis were using testosterone and stuff too. So, but yeah, no, not the way we're talking. It's. Here's the other thing that is true, that is very true, okay? The average 20-something, I can't remember the exact number, but the average 20-something-year-old male today has the testosterone of the average 60-year-old in the 1980s, okay? That's right now. We've been monitoring for decades now general testosterone levels in men decline every decade. We don't know why. There's a lot of speculation. Xenoestrogens, which are chemicals that we're getting exposed to, toxins, lack of activity is probably playing a role, but probably not the whole role. We're also seeing hormone changes in women. It's probably environmental. We don't know for sure, but in men in particular, this is happening. Everybody, this is well documented. This isn't just like a new thing. We've been documenting this for decades. So when people say, "Well, my grandfather didn't need testosterone replacement therapy," your grandfathers probably didn't need it because things were different back then. And now we're finding this is happening at younger and younger ages.
I know there's not a silver bullet, right? But you got to think that a majority of that has to do with just the lack of physical activity that men do.
It's got to
today.
be a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Has to be a big part of it.
Sure.
Like, I mean, that if you were to, of all the things like that, probably that most men have in common today versus men back then, it's got to be the physical. I mean,
there's a few theories I heard that are most interesting. Xenoestrogens play a role. We know that. We don't know how big of a role. Life is less competitive in the ways that it used to be. That tends to lower testosterone. So when men are in more physical threat, more stuff, testosterone levels tend to go up. Birth control got introduced, which changed women's mating habits. So when women go on birth control, they tend to go towards men who exhibit signs of lower testosterone. Did that play a role? Is it birth control in the water? Some of it comes out when you pee. But we do know it's going down. I mean, it's been documented for a while. Fertility's going down too. We've known that for a while. So, but again, there's a stigma around hormone replacement therapy. And I'm going to say this straight up. If you're a candidate for this, especially if you're somebody who takes your health, seriously, you exercise regularly, you eat right, this is a game changer. Absolute game changer. And it's not expensive. Hormone replacement therapy is not expensive. Peptides can be expensive. Testosterone, progesterone, thyroid is pretty inexpensive to go on those types of things to notice a radical difference. Yeah. So anyway, I want to hear about your experience at the racetrack, bro.
Dude.
I heard you talking about this. So what?
Fighter jet and now the racetrack.
So
bro.
what was the deal?
Yeah, I think
you guys were invited, just so you know. It was epic, man. It was like, again, one of those kind of experiences, kind of like going to the Thunderbirds, and we showed up and we got to really get like inside access, and they brought us in to the team, and they brought us into the trailer, and we did the whole like morning meeting and introduced me and like how he's been listening to us and all this benefit that he's gotten from the show.
What racetrack is this?
This is at Sonoma Raceway.
Okay.
And it was the NASCAR event. It was like their Cup Series. And so I was there, and the crew chief, Travis, reached out, and he's a big fan of the show. And I thought it was just him, because it's like he was very he's the one that reached out, and he's the one that's been communicating with me and like kind of had taken me around and showing me everything. And then I get in there, and everybody was just so nice introducing themselves. And I started to kind of realize that I think a lot of them really listen to the show. Wow. And then later on, come to find out that John, the driver, I think he's been a listener, and he's, I gotta say, like, what really impressed me was just the fact that he took time out even to show my kids like the car and like take them on the track and
like right before he's in a race,
literally right before he's
about to go race, and he was doing that.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
Took pictures with us, and it was like surreal. It was like I grew up like my dad was a big NASCAR fan, and
I've never been to a race.
Yeah, I've never been to a race like from that access. Like I've never seen it like that. I've always seen it like way in the nosebleeds and like, out there. And so I got to go into the garage and in the pits and and he got to explain a lot about the pit crew, which I was really interested in because like, the physicality, the timing, the attention to detail, the focus, like it's insane. And realizing too, he's like, I hire a lot of like ex pro football players because you need to be a huge physical guy, especially for somebody on the jack, because it's like you don't have like a jack where you just, tug it a bunch of times and it like you get like one like huge torquing like, and you got to lift the car up really quick and pop it up. And then the other position is like when the guy's fueling it, because it moves and it's this huge amount of fuel that they have to get into the car. And so like really physical job and it's extremely stressful, and watching them at work was just like freaking magic show.
Were you close to them doing it? Like,
yeah, it was like on the track, like watching them do all this stuff and so cool. And it just, the cars are just so freaking loud and awesome. And like, dude, the kids were just like, their eyes were this big, just walking around like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this, And
how fast are those cars? How much horsepower are those things pulling?
100, they'll go 180. I think they'll go 180, 200 miles an hour, close to that.
On windy. And so this was a different one. It wasn't the circular track. It was, this full like S turns and everything. Like we went there for trying to drive the exotic cars that one time, but it's the same track. But to watch their strategy too, this was another part of it that he was kind of breaking down to me. It was like the pitting strategy is like pretty much like the whole basis of the race. Like them getting that right and like timing it and, understanding when the tires need to be switched out and the fuel and like, and you could hit a window and be awesome. You could just miss that window and be fucked in your last place, And so it was cool because I didn't even I don't understand a lot of what goes into these races, and to see it from that ground floor was just, I can't even really describe how awesome it was.
It's so cool that you got to do that, and it was just how many weeks ago was it when I shared you guys that video that I was all fascinated with the pit times? You remember that?
Yeah.
I was just geeking out on that. I was like, dude, you know how crazy the evolution of the pit time has been? And they're down to I think a second, just barely over a second. That's crazy that they can get those guys in and out in that time. It's wild.
And so I
would love to see that up close.
Oh, you would have
up close out. Would totally been so cool to see that.
It was masterful, to watch them do their thing. And then you'd see there's real conflict and intensity. And a car pulled in, and I think I didn't really see what happened, but there was a competing two cars coming in at the same time right next to each other. And for some reason, I think one of the cars went too far forward or whatever, and then both pit crews just got all excited and started fighting and physically fighting each other, and they're pulling each other off.
Well, think about that
Wait a minute, they were fighting?
Well,
fighting, dude.
Think about it for a second.
Awesome.
If a car comes in like that, if they have got this thing down to I think 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds, say tops, to get you in and out. A car coming in and being a foot off where it needs to stop or whatever throws that completely off. Yeah. Every guy has to take a step to the side that he was prepared. That's how prepared they are to go right there. And if that's off by a foot or two because somebody else's pit crew did something, you're furious. Yeah, and especially since so much is on the line for that part of the race. It's I would love to see that up close like that.
So intense. Cool. So intense.
To your point too, I love all sports. I mean,
at that level, all competitions just get so insane.
Well, and that's where you see mastery, at the professional level, that close. I love that. So that's my favorite part about every sport has that. Every sport has a detail about it that you probably don't know really well until someone teaches you or shows you. And then to see that mastery of they've been doing this for damn near 100 years or more now, and that they have figured this out, that's cool to watch. I think that's so cool.
I mean,
so jealous I missed out.
Oh man, I got to meet the legend himself, the king, Richard Petty. Yeah. He owned both, he owned their car and that group and that team, and then another car that was there. But just, I was growing up, I totally watched him in the SDP car, and so it was totally nostalgic for me. And then to see the kids actually really getting into it, I'm I don't know, maybe this is a thing for them. It really excited them, and they were just glued to it. So
how loud are those cars?
Oh, bro,
really so loud. But only when they're full blown. When they're just starting up their engines and everything, not crazy. But when they're full speed going through, and the best was when they'd have the caution flag out, and somebody spin out, and then everybody's kind of pacing and getting back into the group, and so they have they're stacked now in twos, and they're all ready to take off. And then they all take off together. It's whoa! And everything just vibrates, and oh my god! I was kind of wearing the ear things. It was funny because I was asking him ahead of time, do I need to bring protective ear stuff and all this? He's like, do you work out with gloves?
Did he say that to you?
I was oh my God, this guy gets it.
Oh, bro.
I was dying.
You can't wear them now.
So I felt like such a pussy at first. I was
what a great
Meanwhile, everybody goes deaf.
Yeah. Well, I told him
they're loud. They're not as bad as monster trucks. Monster trucks in indoors is
it's not like nitro.
That's deafening and stuff like that, but they're loud.
I saw
it'll get you.
I saw when I was a kid tractor pulling. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Where they is the loud. That's
that and monster trucks. I think
if it's in the Coliseum, it's
especially if it's enclosed.
Oh, I remember I was 12 and I was so excited. And as soon as they hit it, man, I remember we were
that's another level. I don't know if it's cooler what you got to do or that your boys are at such a cool age to see their dad get recognized like that by other professional sports. That's got to be cool.
That did hit me.
I was gonna say that has to be I mean, the experience was cool in itself. Don't get me wrong, but then because I know you we all know our kids we're not cool to our kids. You're just not. Or maybe I get a little bit of that because mine's 6. You know what I'm saying?
You're cool right now.
So I'm still kind of cool, but then he wouldn't even know that part right there, so he wouldn't even connect the dots and something like that. So, but they're at that age now where dad's not that cool, but then to see that and then to get recognized, and then people hook you up and all that. I mean,
that bought me a little street cred.
Yeah.
For sure. So thanks, Travis, for the street cred.
That's so cool.
Speaking of kids, I got to ask you guys a question, because there seems to be a divide with this. I didn't know that the people were different about this. When you're eating food, when you have your food in front of you, and your kids want to have some of your food, are you guys okay with it? Is it not a big deal? Is it a big deal? Are you protective? How do you react?
My son's never done that before.
He doesn't want any of your food? Doesn't want to try any of your food?
Never.
Even if you're eating something?
I used to have a problem with it, but I started to let them try it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always encouraging him to try things. I want him to try things new. In fact, I was joking about it last night about ordering something different, because he has his things he likes, and I know it's important to encourage him.
You always order the same thing.
Yeah. So I was trying to get him to do something. You know what he did? He's like, "Well, I'll do a different dessert. How about that?" I was like, "Okay."
You just something close to you.
Yeah.
My boys are all competitive now, so they're like trying to get all the meat and all the best stuff before I get there, and they've learned, to calm down a bit, because I used to have some of that from my dad, convey I'm the king of the house. Yeah. This is what I get. And, you don't touch this. And I kind of had a little bit of that for a while. And then I was like, I want them to get bigger and eat more protein. I was like, I'll get more food later. I just kind of calmed down with it. But it used to bother the hell out of me.
So my wife is funny about this. This is where this conversation comes up. If my wife gets food for her or a drink and the kids want it visibly irritates her. She's like, "This is mine. I'll get you your own, but this is mine."
Oh, that's funny.
Now I am so opposite with this. Opposite. When I have food, or if I'm eating or drinking anything, and my kids want some, I put them on my lap and we eat it together, and it brings me so much joy. Now, part of the reason why, because it goes back to childhood. When I was a kid, this is how my dad was. This is how my grandfather was. Some of the times that they were most physically affectionate was when they were feeding us off their plate.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I love doing it. My wife is very,
there,
so we had friends over and I brought it up and it was divided, like one of them was like, "Oh yeah." The other one's like, "Nobody touched my food."
Well, in Jessica's defense, I'm 100% like that. Like for sure. So for example, Katrina gets upset about this because I'm like this, where if we order something and she goes, and she hears my order, she's like, "Oh, I'd like to take a bite of that." I will order her a whole nother plate of that. And then she gets mad when it comes. She's like, "Why did you order that?" I said, "You wanted a bite. Have a bite. I'll eat the rest of yours." So I don't want whatever is in, and what that is to me is like, I've decided this is the amount of food that I want to eat.
Yeah.
And so anything
that's
less,
got to be the bodybuilder in you, right?
I don't even know.
That's 50 grams of protein exactly.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I definitely have a thing like that. And I'm like, but seriously, if somebody, if a friend or somebody wants a bite or I will buy them the whole meal so they have it and I have mine. Now, my son's never picked at my plate, so I haven't came across that yet. So it'll be interesting how I went with him, because Katrina also thinks that I break all my rules for him. So she's just like, "You're so this way with all these things," and then he gets to do whatever he likes. So
well, he's my son.
Yeah, I know. That's I'm like, well, he's my
I
boy,
call it the daddy tax, but if they do that, I just end up eating off their plate too. So it's kind of back and forth now.
What's funny is it's reflected now back, because if they have something that I want, they'll give it to me. But mom, sometimes they'll fight me. So I'm like, that's because I always share with them. That's why.
Funny.
Yeah, but I love it. It brings me so much joy. I don't know what it is. I do. Again, it was I have distinct memories of
your culture. That's what you guys grew up.
My grandfather used to do that. Like he would, hey, come sit on my lap, and then he would eat with.
Yeah, that would be like plate. Katrina. Katrina's very everyone grabbing each other's food off their plate and everyone's sharing. Let me try. Oh, you try. I'm like, I'm not like that. I'm like, this is mine. Yeah. So I connect with Jessica on that. Although I haven't had that, it'd be interesting. I'm curious to how I will respond in the moment. I see myself not caring with my son. I do. I am a way more flexible with him about stuff like that because I'm mindful of the things that you're saying that you love and sharing, and I don't want to kill that moment for him. And like, I also want him to try different things, especially if it's a food he hasn't. So, because that's something that I'm trying to get better about right now, is we can be a bit like same food. Like we rotate through the same things about every 7 to 14 days, and so it's like, so then when I try and get him to do something, he's like, "No, I don't want that. I want you on the stick," or I want.
That's a great point. I bet you fitness households do that. where we have the same rotation.
For
of
sure.
foods.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Because you know the macros in it, you know it's healthy, you've trained yourself.
These are the 3 meats we eat. These are the forms of starch we eat. Because we're like that too.
Yes.
Which I don't mind. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
I could care less.
Me too, but I know
my wife's always like, you want tri-tip again? I'm like, yeah, make it every day. I don't care. I love it. I love tri-tip, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I know it's important for the kids to have diversity and try different stuff.
Different textures
so that they're willing
flavors.
to do that and they don't grow up to be like, I only want these 3 things because that's all I was fed. And it's like, shit, I did only feed you that. That's my bad, you know?
So I went and looked up studies. Did you guys know that there's studies with Brain FM, that actual studies that are done with Brain FM and they're
in regards to what?
I'll tell you. Okay. So first off,
they had a focus study.
There's one. There's that and more. So to break it down, for people who don't know, Brain FM uses AI-driven algorithms and creates what they call as functional music. This is different than binaural beats. They use patented techniques like neural phase locking, 3D spatial audio. The goal is to influence brainwave activity, which is aimed at improving the type of performance you're looking for, whether it's sleep or focus or meditation or whatever, right? So they have some studies. They did a study where they compared Brain FM to music, noise, or silence. The results showed mind-wandering, improved focus, with participants performing better on sustained attention tasks when they used Brain FM. And then there's EEG evidence. They test EEG activity in the brain, showing synchronized brainwave activity in regions associated with attention. So they can actually see it on an EEG.
Yeah.
When someone's listening to focus, the EEGs look like a brain that's focused. They also did fMRI studies that showed increased blood flow to brain regions linked to attention and focus. There's another study that was done in 2024, a 23% reduction in writing errors and the ability to work for 3 hours without breaks when using their high neural effect level of focus. And there's more. There's one with sleep. Another study showed a 24 to 29% increase in slow wave sleep with people using their sleep music compared to controls. Remarkable.
Yeah.
It's really
it works. It's effective. It's like crazy. Yeah.
What's cool to me, because I like them.
Makes sense.
I've been using them forever. And by the way, for people listening, you go through our link, you get 30 days. You can try it out for 30 days. You'll feel it. Mm-hmm. What's cool to me though is you can do fMRI. So this is an MRI, but it's in real time, or EEG tests, and you can literally test someone, have them listen to something, and say, here's the brain, and now it's different. And it's acting in a way...
Physically watch it change. Yeah.
Yes, it's acting in a way that we've associated with focus or sleep or meditation. And we know this because we'll have the other participants. There's lots of studies on this. When people get really focused without using anything, we will measure their brain waves, and we know what a focused brain looks like. In fact, somebody could take you right now, put your brain in fMRI or EEG, and they can't predict what you're doing, but they can predict if you're sleeping or you're focused or you're meditating. We know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. It's pretty wild that you can induce it like that. Now we have studies to show it.
Do you think this is the same type of science that supports like why we've always used like song to pass down history? Like, I think that's fascinating. Like obviously we have the science now to do all this cool stuff and see, but it's like, how wild is it that way long ago, before we had any
effective delivery system.
Yeah, that we already knew to do that. I think that's so crazy. Like here it's cool because now we can prove like, yes, we can tell this is what's happening. But it's like, dude, before we could even prove that, we figured out by creating these songs would be a way to pass down history to the next generation. That's crazy.
Well, like before the printing press, books were recited to each other over and over and over again, and some of them with incredible accuracy, and a lot of it was song.
Yep.
And it's really how music affects cognition is really interesting. I don't even think we fully have a full grasp on it. It lights up the whole brain.
Yeah.
It does things like my right now, my 2.5-year-old. You ask her to actually I ask you guys, tell me your ABCs. I guarantee you'll sing it.
Yeah.
Nobody in here is going to say their ABCs without singing it.
Yeah.
That's how we remember all our
hard
ABCs.
to do without that, yeah.
I know. I got my 2.5-year-old now. She's on her own. She'll like be playing and she'll start singing the ABCs. And it's the cutest thing.
Well, it's a trip
so
too, because you've seen like that they even found with Neanderthals that they have like a bone harp or like a bone flute, I should say. Yeah. And it's like, so they had music pretty much since humans existed.
You know what's funny about Neanderthals is there's that like that stereotype of Neanderthals that they're dumb.
Oh no, yeah.
But it turns out they were probably smart. We just killed them. Like we just
outbred them and killed them.
That's how we justified
we're just
it.
better hunters. Yes, we're faster and taller.
Yeah. Oh, they were dumb.
We made better weapons.
You and your dumb forehead.
They're probably peaceful. You know what I mean?
They're probably cool and chill.
Oh,
you know?
I remember the first time I ever really saw that like really and that fascinated was, I think I told you guys this about my my cousin who homeschools all our kids. And she
showed this to Jessica, by the way.
Dude, it is so and so she's homeschooling their whole life, right? So she's got kids that are beyond high school into college now.
Yeah.
And they all learn this song and every year they build on the song. So by the time they're teenagers, they can sing this song. I forgot how many minutes it's long. I think it's like 20 minutes long or something long song. Yeah, it's like super long. That they can recite, and it's because they every year they build on it, and all it is it's a song of history. It just basically tells you all
important things,
all these important years and times, and the people that were connected in the wars and all this stuff, all through a song. And she even said, she's like, it's so crazy. We'll be watching the History Channel or something like that, and one of the kids will be in the room, and they'll just like spout, oh, that's so and so, and that was in 1772, and like they'll spout off these dates and people and that are important in history, and it's all from that song. I was like, dude, that's so cool.
That is so cool. Hey, I got to give you an update on my new, well, not new because I've used it before, but it's so far, real quick, just a little disclaimer. I'm not giving anybody investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my own personal strategy. It's 100% success. My investment strategy, you know, the one where Adam tells me what to buy, but he doesn't buy it. Oh my God, dude.
It's working out.
It's magic, bro.
Oh, God.
This is how it works, everybody. Adam says,
I'm so salty about this.
Adam says, buy this, but he doesn't buy it. If he buys it, don't get it. Yeah. If he says buy it and doesn't buy it.
You have like Katrina buy it for you or something.
It's like 10 for 10. It's like 10 for 10.
I hope my wife actually hears this and does listen to that, right?
Yeah.
So
Come on,
she'll go buy it.
So she'll go buy it. So she'll be like,
ninja about
honey, don't worry, I
we
got
were
her
talking
back.
about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was already high. It was like 110. I think it was.
No, it was even that. It was just over 100.
Or 100.
Just over 100.
It's at 120 or something like that right now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm buying some. He's like, yeah, you should. I'm like, are you going to buy some? He's like, nah. I'm like, okay. I bought a bunch of it.
So
double down.
And it went up like crazy.
So annoying, man. I'm super bitter about the whole coin thing because I've lost all mine, you know. So
because you forgot your past.
So and I just asked, who was I talking to? Somebody else who's got coins.
Now California's going to own it, right?
Yeah, I had XRP.
Somebody will own it.
I had XRP, Cardone, Ethereum, and something else. I had like 4 or 5 coins, and it wasn't crazy amount of money, but it
was money.
Yeah, it was money, and it would be a decent amount right now. And so I have not been able to get into it. I've tried so many things. That my brother, who's a hacker, tried to get him to do it. Like, no. And now that new law that passed in California, it's like it's as good as
how
gone.
funny is that they can get it, but they can't give it to you, the guy that owns it.
Yeah.
It's like,
bit weird, huh?
No.
Yeah, that's why I don't try.
So
That's why that's my reluctancy to giving them $100K for a Bitcoin right now. It's just like, I mean, obviously I'm kicking myself for not doing it when I thought about it back at 25 too. So there was 2 times so far that I've like felt really passionate about it. 25K and then at 100K. Those are the times I've actually really felt passionate about doing something, and I'm like, we should do it, and then I don't do it. But what keeps me from doing that is knowing that I got screwed on my other coins, and so I'm just so nervous of that. So, and I know there's a bunch of coins.
How much do you think you'd have right now on the ones you owned? Am I going to feel like pain right now?
No, I don't. Well, so I had about $5,000 in that, and to give you an example, XRP, I bought it at 93 cents or something. I think it's like 270 right now. So
that would have more than doubled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
like 15 grand.
Probably. Okay. That'd probably be a good guess total.
That still sucks.
Yeah. No, of course it sucks. It was mine.
It's a vacation.
Yes, it's mine. You know what I'm saying? Or some wheels.
People
right?
listening right now are so mad too.
Yeah.
15 grand.
Yeah. So whatever. But now I'm all sour about it. So I'm all reluctant to do it. But I mean, watching you have success with it is at least someone's winning.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You get to live vicariously.
Yeah.
I do that with you all the time.
I know you do it too.
Every time you get a nice car.
Yeah, that's what you do.
I show everybody else. Look at this car my friend got.
Tell everybody about your stock portfolio, not mine.
Look how good we're doing.
Yeah, look how Sal's doing over here. Well, what about you? Never mind me. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, I found a study on CBG, one of the cannabinoids in the hemp plant, reduced fat in the heart.
Interesting.
Yeah, reduced fat in the heart.
Specifically the heart?
The heart. Yeah.
This has to be more reasons why they connected the dots
wild.
with. Remember, like the you would assume because weed gives you the munchies that we have all these obese people that do it, and that just doesn't pan out.
No, people that use we're not going to advocate using cannabis for this reason, but it's really weird that people who use cannabis regularly have lower rates of diabetes and tend to be less obese.
This has to be what's connected to it, though, right? It's got to be something to do with that.
Something, and there's some insulin sensitivity effects that some studies show with cannabinoids improving. That it improves. I know. I have family members that use NED religiously. Like I'll get a message from them. In fact, I have Jerry mail it to them for more NED, and they use it for pain, but they also tell me when I use it, my blood sugar numbers come back better. So it probably has something to do with that. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because it's true. Like cannabis, and cannabis has all these cannabinoids in it, but it also has THC. NED doesn't have THC, but it has all the other cannabinoids. Cannabis makes you want to eat. So it's always weird when they do all these studies. They say, well, they have lower rates of diabetes and they're less obese.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to move less and eat more.
Yeah.
Which, because it makes you more lazy and it makes you want to eat more. And yet what's going on here?
Yeah.
And
I've always thought that was interesting.
Well, to the tune of this, look, for people who are like, this sounds crazy. It's not. Look at the pharmaceutical research on cannabinoids and diabetes. There's actual studies going on. I don't know if they're going on now. I know there were about 6 years ago, last time I checked, that they're studying cannabinoids as a potential treatment, maybe in addition to other treatments for things like diabetes.
Yeah.
Because of its effects on blood sugar.
Yeah. Have you, we used to, remember early on, we were interested, mainly because I know I just came out of it and you were still researching and paying attention a lot. Do you pay attention to that market or anything anymore? Like, I don't really pay attention to it like I used to. Like,
no, I don't.
Like where the laws are at and where, there seemed a time like, man, any minute now we're going to start seeing this in grocery stores everywhere.
Yeah, there was talk that they were going to try to reschedule it. I don't know if that's still on the table or not, but I had heard that.
And you had some states that were already starting to pass it to where you can just have
some states are going back now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some states are like starting to think that maybe we shouldn't have this legalized. So here's the truth. Cannabis, if it's legalized, more people will use it. So this is a fact. More people are going to use it if it's legalized. What are the plus signs of it? It doesn't go black market as much. You have tax revenue. Adults should have the freedom to blah, blah, blah. But more people will use it. That's true. I think the belief, what was promoted was if it's legalized, more people aren't going to use it. A lot of people already use it. I thought that. That's not true now. We see the data. As soon as it gets legalized, way more people end up using it. And that comes with its own problems. THC in particular.
Where do you stand?
Psychoactive.
Where do you personally stand on it then?
I think it should be. I think they should keep it legalized, but I think it should be regulated.
Of course,
yeah,
it has to.
And I think it
has to when you compare it, Sal. If you're going to be pro caffeine, pro alcohol, pro pornography, if you can get all those things, access to those things, are all, in my opinion, far more dangerous.
I think all of those should be regulated. I think, including pornography, I think should be regulated for adults only. But I do cannabis use is associated, THC in particular. Or specifically is associated with psychiatric issues. So you're seeing a high, rise in schizophrenia and anxiety and stuff like that. So
it is a bit alarming.
It's not benign.
I got, before that, I was like very, I guess less like regulations, but then I start to see the usage of it in schools and with kids is so prevalent.
Yep.
It's everywhere. And then they're all vaping and it's a real problem that they need to really think about that and how that's trickled down. But for the 21, keeping it at 21, just like anything else, that's kind of where I'm at with it, making sure that's a rigid standard.
Yeah. And you do see there may be lower uses of alcohol, But some studies show that people just use both, which is not good. So it's like people are like, cool, I'll do both. I'll smoke and I'll drink alcohol. That's not a great combination.
You had to wonder too that I wonder if it's like it peaks and then it kind of levels out, like when it's kind of novel right now and new to be able to do it. And then I already feel like that's already kind of came down. Like I don't like, it felt like for a minute there, it was like everybody was talking, whether it was talking to me about getting involved with it on the business side or interested, is it something that I could use? Is it good for me? Like, that's really calmed down.
Did you see that Carnival Cruises? They used to let people smoke like weed and vape on deck because they're out in the sea or whatever. Now they're like, no more. They will not allow it anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they passed a bunch of new rules because
of all the diarrhea.
No, it was because of all the fighting and shit. They got bad publicity with people. So they passed all these rules. One of them is like no more weed on deck, which is.
That's weird.
I know weed's probably not causing the fighting though.
I almost certain.
I'm sure it's the alcohol. But
have you ever been around a group of dudes that let's get high and then go fight? Like that's never happened. But drinking that. No, yes.
Besides the Diaz brothers, I don't know anybody that smokes weed and fights.
It's not common. Like most people chill out after they have weed. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get a certain demographic, not to show up. Is what it is. Make it less attractive.
That makes sense.
ZBiotics is a pre-alcohol probiotic drink that is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. You take it before you drink alcohol, and those friendly bacteria have been designed to break down acetaldehyde in your gut. What does that mean? You drink it before you drink, you feel way better. It really works. Check it out and try it out for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com. That's ZBIOTICS.com/mindpump25. The code mindpump25 will get you 15% off. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
Our first caller is Porter from Colorado.
What's up, Porter?
How you doing, Porter?
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, man. How can we help you?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you. I've been a long-time listener, first-time caller, and you guys have really, changed, I think, fitness as a whole. So I think it's really wonderful the way you guys present it.
Thank you.
To get into my question, I'm just kind of curious on how I can heal my relationship with food. I struggle with high stress situations, some emotional eating, and I have a fear that the answer is to work out a little bit less. But I work out like 7 to 10 hours a week, following MAPS Performance, getting about three workouts a week on the mobility side and 3 of the lifts, and then cardio is typically like 3 to 4 times a week, and 2 of those are like outdoor mountain biking or like going for a trail run or something.
Okay. And so what's the issue with food? Let's get more specific.
I would just say like historically, like some disordered like binging, or like I've been working with a coach, like a eating recovery coach for the last year, and was able to break free from some like I can enjoy more foods often, but like when things are stressful, I definitely can turn to food to handle that stress.
What kind of things have you guys done together over the last year that's helped?
Really the whole process has just been working through intuitive eating when I'm hungry, stopping when I'm full, and then going through that process. We've used some techniques like RAIN and other things to kind of handle that, to cope a little bit more appropriately. So
has it made a difference for you?
I would say in terms of being able to enjoy more foods, but still really struggling to kind of find like when I use the tracker, I'm able to say like, okay, this is where I need to stop or where I need to be, versus listening a little bit more intuitively is more challenging.
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, it's a very difficult thing to work on. You mentioned binge eating, for example. It's a very disconnected to your body way of eating, right? Because you're eating beyond what the body signals are telling you. So some of the techniques that you're talking about that you've done with the coach that you have is to bring more awareness to how you actually feel. I'd like to go back though and talk a little bit about your history and what may have led to this kind of dysfunctional, for lack of a better term, relationship with food. So tell me a little bit about your past.
Yeah, so I would say I was a collegiate wrestler and wrestled all the way through high school and college, and exercised a lot. In the beginning, I had to eat a lot to make weight, to gain weight, because I was wrestling up. And then as I moved into college, I was eating less and manipulating my weight more for sport. And then as a child, I think food was just always a comfort, as something to turn to when things were difficult.
Yeah, no, I hear you. How old are you?
I'm 25.
So you're not that long out of the college days. When did you graduate? How old were you?
I was 23 when I took early retirement from wrestling due to injury, and then I graduated last year, and I'm in my career now.
So Porter, you've only been out of this lifestyle for 2 years, and this was something that you did for most of the time you were growing up, right? High school, you're a teenager, you're adolescent, and you're becoming a young man all the way up through 23 years old. And wrestling, making weight, encourages disconnection. In fact, it served you well. You were able to make weight, right? Like there was a purpose behind disconnecting from your body's signals, because if you didn't, you're not going to be able to eat enough to gain weight. And then later, if you didn't, you're not going to be able to restrict enough to make weight. That's just the sport that you were in. So you actually had to learn through years and years and years of practice to disconnect from very strong signals that your body sends out. Hunger signals, satiety signals, those are all very natural signals. But what you did is you trained yourself to the point where that is now your default. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, Porter, is because I want you to cut yourself some slack. You're only actually a year into this, what you're working on. You've only been working with somebody intently on this for 1 year. But the previous, 10, 12 years, 13 years, you were intently working on the opposite. I think you're moving in the right direction. It's just going to take time, and it's going to feel like a struggle. It's not going to happen in a few months. It's going to take you years. And now the good news is you're going to move forward that entire time. There's going to be some backsliding, and it's going to feel more challenging. The backsliding is going to feel worse than it should because now you're aware, right? Whereas before you might binge and it's like, you don't even think about it. Whereas now when you do, you're like, oh man, there it is. There's that thing I'm doing. Uh-oh, there it is. There's that thing I'm doing. Every time you disconnect from your body's signals, that's the beginning of awareness. The beginning of awareness is being aware of the dysfunction. And you're only a year into it. Keep moving in the direction you're moving. Keep working with somebody who's going to help coach you through this process. You're going to come out better at the other end. But you got to cut yourself some slack. And I'm telling you this because I know that you're probably like down on yourself when you take a couple steps back. Like, oh, why is this still happening? But this is like, it's not. You're not going to erase it in a short period of time at all.
Does the coach or the counselor have you doing exercises like, say, journaling before you eat or after you eat? Do you do stuff like that at all? Have you tried?
Yeah, I would say like after a binge, like I definitely will try and dive into it. What caused it? What brought this on? And then beforehand, probably not so much. I think it's more like that racy behavior.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it would be beneficial to stop, but is the most challenging, in the middle of the workday or whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like even if you just had like a little journal, and it could be as short as 3 words, just before and or after I ate, just trying to bring awareness to that moment. Like, of course, when you binge and you overdo it, then it's like, oh, okay, now I'm trying to unpack. Versus every time I go to eat, like, what am I feeling? Am I hungry right now? Am I just tired right now? Did I just get in a fight with somebody? And so I'm here, like, really trying to connect the dots to those moments when you decide to eat, what you're going through or what you're feeling. And it's just all that exercise is really doing is bringing awareness to all those moments and maybe give you more insight on some of your like pre-triggers. Like what are some of the things that like are in common with these moments where you have this urge to want to overeat or vice versa, right? Undereat. What happened in your day, just say right before that. And maybe you can start to connect the dots of like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Somebody made this comment to me, and now I'm also wanting to do this on this next meal. I wonder if there's something there.
Now, let me add to this, Porter. Here's what happens when you bring awareness to something. It feels worse. So that's what makes it so hard, is it feels worse. I also want to add a little disclaimer. Too much self-focus leads to depression. Okay? So if you're always thinking about this, if you're always studying yourself, if you're always thinking about your feelings, that's called depression, especially for men. Especially for men. So here's the remedy for that. You want to try to be other-focused more often. What do I mean by that? I don't mean look at other people and judge them. That's not what I mean. I mean, do things and sacrifice for other people. That's the remedy for the challenges that come with self-awareness. Otherwise, this is going to lead you to depression. And then what that's going to do is make you go in the other direction. You'll be like, screw this, I'm done. And I'm just going to go back to what I was doing before. So what does that look like? It could look like coaching someone else in fitness. It could look like you're a part of a group where you help other people with a similar issue. It could look like volunteer work. It could look like anything that is self-sacrificing and other-focused is profoundly beneficial for mental state. Because again, if you become if it's all about me, how do I feel right now? How am I feeling while I'm eating? What's happening? Why did I do that? Depressed. You're going to be depressed. That's like the hallmark of depression. So you got to balance it out. So come up with things that you could do that are other-focused for other people that have nothing to do with, let me think about myself, to bring yourself some joy. And then in the meantime, take your counselor's coaching. And I wouldn't do any more than that because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, we're over here throwing shots at the dartboard right now, but hopefully this counselor is having this type of a conversation. Right?
They're an expert on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
This is who we learn from. So this is, I mean, they know you better. We've been talking for 5 minutes and we're trying to give good advice. Hopefully the best advice is probably to stick to whatever your counselor is telling you.
Yeah. So you're really into fitness. Yeah. Do you work in the fitness space or do you do something else?
I had a in-person training business in college, and then I transitioned a couple of those clients online with me that I've been able to work with, but I'm currently in like a sales role, distribution.
You know what might be good? I'm just a suggestion. There's a lot of ways to do this, but would be to find people that struggle with some of the stuff and just volunteer your time to help them and genuinely try to help them. That'll be the other focus. That would be like an example of the other focus thing that could help you. So it's not so, because what you're probably experiencing, especially if you're a smart guy, is there's so much focus on me that, oh my God, I feel like crap. Oh, this keeps happening. Why am I doing this? Let me just think about myself and how I feel all the time. And then that's just dark. It just gets real dark real fast. So I would take the counselor's advice. Don't do more than that. Try to enjoy your workouts. Try not to be too obsessed about them, but also try not to obsess about doing, that I'm doing too much type of deal.
That is something.
And cut yourself some slack.
That is something we didn't really address that much. I think you even alluded to kind of like already knowing that is. It'd be interesting to see if as much as you're training and moving is also ramping up the cravings and the appetite and making it even more difficult for yourself too. So maybe like lowering the intensity. I don't know what your intensity looks like. Just maybe not necessarily cutting you back.
Oh, I guarantee his intensity is high if he wrestled most of his life.
Yeah. So like if you're already struggling with this like binge desire, and because I know when I really push my body physically, then I get cravings. Like my body's going, I need more fuel faster, and that just makes the resisting the binging part even more difficult. And so maybe pulling back potentially for a while the intensity on the training. Like, not saying, I'm not going to tell you to stop going or stop doing things. Just like pull back on don't be trying to crush yourself in your workouts if you do that.
Yeah. I mean, and you're doing performance and you're kind of like back in that kind of athlete mind. It might serve you a bit to kind of shift that and try a different focus, training wise, and like get a different type of stimulus. So it doesn't put you back in that wrestling mode where, your brain's just constantly there. Like I'm getting ready for something. It's more just benefiting your body somehow. Yeah. So
overall, I tell you what, this is the most important part, Porter. I think you're moving. I know you're moving in the right direction. You're working with a professional.
Yeah, you're doing the right.
You're moving in the right direction, bro. You're probably being a little too hard on yourself. And I think you're doing great, dude. Mm-hmm. And take a step back, look at everything from 1,000 feet, and look at how you trained yourself for so long versus the last year. Like, yeah, dude, it's gonna be hard for sure. But don't focus too much on how what you're not doing right now, because that I don't think is the right direction. I think you should look at everything and say, oh man, I'm moving in the right direction. That was a long time where I just disconnected, and it served me well in college, got me to wrestle at a college level, but now it's not serving me anymore, so I just got to move in a different direction. It's a new journey. That's all. It's like imagine if a young wrestler came to you, and they're like, man, I've been wrestling for a year, and I keep getting my butt kicked. What are you going to tell them? Well, yeah, it's your first year, bro. Everybody gets their ass kicked for the first year. Just keep going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah. You provide a lot of great insights. I appreciate your time, and it's been very helpful. Thank you.
You're gonna do good, dude. You're only 25, bro.
You're doing good, Porter.
You're gonna do really good, bro. Just don't be so hard on yourself.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it.
You got it, brother.
All right.
People don't understand
wrestling.
No,
top. That was like my top one for men.
Insane.
Oh,
yeah,
men. That's top, and then probably pageants or model type stuff for women. I'd say it would be the top. So those are the top two.
The reason why wrestlers tend to dominate in mixed martial arts is because for decades you learn how to take a beating.
You can just
and
handle
you become a robot. It's the workouts are ridiculous. Wrestling itself is insane. And then you starve yourself to make weight, and you know how to shut it off. Then it's like a soldier in war who then comes to live. I mean, I know that's more extreme.
Compartmentalize everything.
Yeah, now I'm a civilian. I'm not wrestling anymore. I'm a civilian. How do I live this way? It's a new life. It's very difficult.
Yeah,
it takes time.
The fact that he has the awareness to get a counselor and a coach to help him through this
he's on top of that, which is awesome.
Which I found myself after we're seeing. I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, we've known the guy for 5 minutes and trying to give him advice.
And he's working with an expert.
Yeah, he's working with an expert.
And the other thing,
the biggest move.
And the other thing I want to add too, and this is more especially true for men, is too much self-focus, too much focus on my feelings, too much. That is not
totally
helpful.
Resonates,
that turns into depression.
Which might be why. Again, that's what I meant. That might be why the counselor is not telling him to do that yet. It's just like you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Our next caller is Steve from the UK.
Steve, what's happening?
What's going on, Steve?
What's up?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Same. How can we help you?
So I've just started the MAPS Powerlift program. Not for competing, just merely putting on a bit of size and getting stronger. I've always had an issue with the straight bar when squatting. So I was just wondering, if I swap that out for a safety squat bar, would I see any different type of results or any benefits maybe?
I'll give you two answers. It is slightly different. It's closer to a front squat than a back squat. Not quite a front squat.
Loads the front a little bit more.
You're going to get more quad than posterior chain.
Core.
More core than you will from a back squat. It's not a bad exercise. No. If you want to do that instead of back,
great exercise.
Perfect.
Super sound exercise.
Now the other answer I have is to figure out why you can't hold the bar behind your back, and why do you get, and usually that has to do with thoracic
external rotation,
shoulder, and scapular mobility. And so what I would do is work on those things, because you should be able to, a guy like you, strong dude working out, young, you should be able to hold on to the bar and squat. And the fact that you can't tells me there's an issue, and if we ignore it, it's going to get worse. So
it's always been my shoulder mobility. I always have upper back issues as well, like any overhead press. So obviously, and most guys, mobility is something that I've never really focused on. It's just going in and lifting weights, but.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Do you have Prime Pro?
No.
Let me send that to you. This is a simple fix. I want you to pick 2 or 3 shoulder and scapular mobility movements, and I want you to practice them a few times a day, every day, every day. And that should make a difference. It's going to take time, but it'll make a difference. Because here's the deal. If you lose the ability to overhead press, it's gone. Mm-hmm. You don't want to lose that. And you can develop round-looking delts and still not have good overhead press ability. Trust me, I've seen bodybuilders and physique competitors can't even do a total overhead press. But it is not going to serve you moving forward. Like, that's a fundamental movement you don't want to lose.
Yeah, for the time being, the safety squat bar is awesome. Great way still for you to build strength. It's got benefits to it, very similar, even though it's different. But if you're a client of mine, we have to start working on this now because this is just going to get worse and worse as you get bigger, stronger, and older. And so this is definitely something that we would want to address for sure.
By the way, I had this issue. I know Adam has communicated the same issue. Mm-hmm. And it took me a year of working on it, and it became profoundly better to the point where I could do behind the neck presses and pull downs.
Okay.
But it was a year of practice. So it's just, like I said, we'll send you Prime Pro. You'll have the movements. You practice them a couple times a day, every day, and you'll see some improvements.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. I will do that.
You got it, my friend.
All right, Steve.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
It reminds me, I don't want to say too much, I don't want to call anybody out, but we had somebody come here once to do some work for us. And they were, again, I don't want to say too much, but they were professionals in terms of how they built their bodies. So very shredded, the whole deal. And all they had to do was a overhead press with dumbbells.
Couldn't do it.
Okay. They couldn't fully extend their arms above their head. And if you looked at them, you'd see muscle, you'd see definition. Yeah. But they couldn't do this like basic thing. I mean, it wasn't like an overhead squat. We weren't asking them to do like a deep ass squat or a
snatch.
It was just pushing something overhead with full extension. They couldn't do. Yeah. So you don't want to lose that.
Our next caller is Eric from Texas.
Eric, what's up, man?
How you doing, Eric?
What's happening?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How can we help you?
I am a 60-year-old man, roughly 5'10", 211 pounds. Body fat from my digital scale says about 18.5%. I've been working out off and on for years and years and years. Probably the last year I've gotten a little more serious. So currently I strength train 45 to 50 minutes a day, 45 times a week. Also average about 11,000 steps a day. That said, I signed up with an online trainer, told him I wanted to be at about 12 to 15% body fat, look a little more muscular. So I want to keep my muscle, like to lose some of my belly fat. He put me on a 2,000 calorie diet, which is 210 protein, 120 carbs, 76 fat. My weight is down from roughly 216, 217 to this morning was 211 in about 5 weeks. I signed up with him like June 1st. He's online in California, don't know him. But lately, like the first 3 or 4 weeks were going great. I work out Monday through Friday and then take Saturday and Sunday off. It's a push-pull legs workout. But lately I've been, pretty tired, dragging. Like the first 3 or 4 weeks, it seemed like all 5 days I could hit it hard, felt great. The last 2 weeks, by Thursday, Friday, I'm starting to kind of drag a little bit. And really, last Friday, I kind of took, literally the workout was about 10, 15 minutes. And then I took off, of course, Saturday and Sunday just to recover and rest. So my question is, after listening to your podcast for months and months and months, I'm thinking after listening to you guys, my calories are way too low. But I wanted your thoughts.
Yeah, good intuition. What were your calories at before do you know what they were at before you cut them down to 2,000?
I didn't really track them that close, but I look back because I do put them into MyFitnessPal. I don't do it every day, but it seemed like they were around 2,600.
Okay.
And he put me at 2,000. And like I said, the first 3 or 4 weeks, it didn't hurt me, didn't affect me. I was losing weight. Now it just seems like I'm just,
Yeah. Did you, when you started the cut, did you also just kind of have a little bit more intensity, consistency with your workout? Sometimes people do that. Like, I'm trying to get leaner. I'm going to get more consistent, more serious. In other words, did you ramp that up a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. Big time.
Mistake. Yeah. So that's a very common mistake,
especially
right?
in conjunction with a 2,000 calorie.
When you do a cut, you don't also increase your activity because you're burning the candle at both ends type of deal. So there's 2 things I would do with you if you were my client, and it's all based on how you feel. 3-4 weeks, I feel good. now I'm dragging ass. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do a week at 2,500 calories, and we're going to cut down your workouts this week and only going to do 3. And then next week, we'll go back up to 4 workouts a week. We're not going to go to 5, and we'll start the cut again and see how you feel. It's going to be this give and take based on how we feel. Because here's what's going to happen. You could push through this, but you might get sick, injured. You just feel like crap. It's like, okay, I'm doing this to improve my quality of life. I feel like garbage. Why am I doing this type of deal? So, and you have a lot of muscle, Eric. You're at 60 years old, at your weight, body fat percentage, like you carry a lot of muscle. You're doing great. I think you should just listen to your body. So right now, you probably should bump your calories 500 and reduce the workouts. I think 5 days a week with a cut is too much with strength training.
Do you, when you say increase calories, is it because I'm doing roughly on the protein side, right? 1 gram per 1 pound of body weight. I'm hitting 210. Is it the carbs or the fat, or does it matter?
Both. I'd bump them both.
Okay. Both. Yeah, I think you go how you feel. Like sometimes bump a little bit more in carbs, other days bump a little bit more in fat, and pay attention to what makes you feel better, both satiety and energy wise. And see, because both of them can go up a little bit from where you're at. I would have from day one, I actually wouldn't have cut you. This is a typical kind of like trainer move. You just hire me. You say you want to lose belly fat, so I just cut calories to show you some results, and you did exactly. You got some results. Problem is, it's short, and you hit a plateau, and then now feel the way you do. A much better strategy would have been right out the gates, reverse dieting you. Because a guy with as much muscle and size as you have, and also going to be training 5 days a week, 2,500 calories is low. You want to be up over 3,000 calories, and then when we cut down to 2,700 calories, and you lose body fat.
It feels like a longer process, but it sets you up to be in a better place at the end.
Yeah, you'll feel better. You'll feel like you're eating more. You'll have more energy. It'll be easier. In the long run, it seems like it's the longer path because you're like, hey, I want to lose my belly fat. And I'm like, hey, I want you to eat more calories. And you're going, what? That seems backwards.
Right.
It seems.
Okay. And it really kind of rings true also. I think what one of you three were talking about on the recent podcast I was listening to is, one of the signs, I guess, is sleep. And my sleep used to be about 7 hours a day. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, I average, because I track with my Oura Ring and Garmin, I'm sleeping like 6 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So sleep has gone down. Restfulness has gone up.
Yep. It's overtraining.
Yep.
And your workouts, because you've been working out for so long, the amount of muscle you have, they're probably pretty intense. I mean, you're probably kind of getting after it and getting a good workout.
Yeah.
And you've cut your calories, plus you've probably ramped them up, and they were already probably pretty good before. So now you ramp them up a little bit because you have this intention of getting leaner. It's just too much. It's just too much now. And the signs now we're telling you. So if you took,
I mean, I'd love to put them on Maps Anabolic. Can we just send them over to Maps Anabolic?
Yeah.
I don't know how, trainers sometimes they get super.
Is he giving you a workout too, or just diet?
No, he gave me the workout. Which was another deal. Sal, you were talking about the intensity, because my workouts I've done for the last 3 years on my own was just one body part. I do chest one day, arms one day, and he has me doing, like today I did back and buys. Yesterday was chest and tris. Tomorrow's shoulders and abs. And so I think the 2 body parts every day is really starting to kick my butt. 5 days a week.
Yeah. So what happened is your volume went up a lot then. Yeah. Versus and your calories went down.
Yeah, volume up, intensity up, and calories down is a recipe for feeling the way
you're going to get overtrained.
Everything that's happened is exactly what probably should have happened. You lost a little bit of weight initially because you ramped up all the extra activity with the calorie cut. Then eventually your body starts talking to you and says, okay, this is low.
I got it, Eric. Let's speed up this process. So I'm going to send you Maps Anabolic. Follow that workout. It's 3 days a week. 3 full body workouts a day. Okay, a week. That's it. Okay. I'm also going to send you our, I think it's called our recovery guide. Is that it? It's the one for help, like you do a week and you get your body. Okay, I'm going to send you
guide.
Rescue recovery guide. The next week, follow the rescue recovery guide. So you're not going to work out, but you're going to do something every day to speed up this process because you're in the overtrained state. And don't worry, you're not going to lose muscle or anything like that. You just start getting good sleep and start feeling good again. And then after that week, start Maps Anabolic. And I would have you bump your calories for the next couple weeks before attempting a cut again. Yeah. If you want to do this longer term, I would slowly increase the calories over time till you get to a point where you're like, wow, I'm eating a lot of food. and then cut. That's the other option.
I mean, I bet you could go right back up to 2,500 with a good balance. So long as you make good choices as far as hitting your protein intake, eating whole foods, you can go right back up to 2,500 and be fine.
Yeah. So this next week, you're going to do the recovery guide. After that, MAPS anabolic. And I think you'll see your body will really start to respond well.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Great. Awesome. Can I ask you one more quick question?
Of course.
How do you, what are your thoughts on visceral fat? I had a DEXA body scan. And it did say I had really good muscle and good bone strength and all this other stuff, but it said my visceral fat, which I think, I always thought, I've got some really strong abs, but I think it's visceral fat because it feels a little kind of hard to push in. So I was like, look at these abs. And I thought, I don't think those are abs. And so what's your advice on visceral fat? Like, is there any easy way or certain way to get rid of it?
You're doing all the right stuff. So strength training, staying active, eating healthy, maintaining insulin sensitivity is important for that. Are you on hormone replacement therapy?
Yeah, I'm on TRT.
Yeah.
But I do think, Sal, what hurt it was I've quit drinking for the most part 6 months ago. But for the prior 10, 15 years, I was married and I drank red wine 4 or 5 nights a week. Yeah. And I think that probably contributed to it. I assume it did.
For sure. That makes a big difference. Yep. And you can, there's peptides you can look at that help with visceral body fat. But at the end of the day, it's, what gets you leaner.
Eric, how long have you been on the replacement therapy for? How long?
A year and a half.
Okay, yeah. By the way, knowing that too, most certainly would have bumped calories. One of the beautiful benefits of hormone therapy is you're not at the normal whims of ups and downs of testosterone like most men are, or like flatlining for some men that are older. You are at peak muscle building signal all the time. So in other words, when you eat a little bit extra calories,
it's more likely to go to muscle.
It's more likely to go right to muscle, especially if you're strength training. If you're strength training in conjunction with this. So that a person like you has a much greater advantage of the accidental extra calories going to good than to being stored as body fat than the average person who's at the whims of peaks and valleys of testosterone levels. So even more reason. I mean, I would have done it regardless, even if you were not taking hormone replacement therapy. But having that is like a no-brainer. Like we need it. Let's go build some muscle.
And something else that's not often discussed because it's a little bit more nuanced, but you get two people, identical situations. They're both twins. One of them has more muscle and has been strength training for a while. The other one hasn't. The same workout being done is more volume and more stress with the bigger, stronger person. Squatting 300 pounds for 10 reps is 300 pounds for 10 reps versus 150. Even if the intensity feels similar, when you have more muscle, it's just more volume. And 5 days a week of bodybuilding, for most people, you could do maybe a short sprint of doing that, but in a calorie surplus, but definitely not long term, and definitely not in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. I mean, y'all's advice is great. And I love your show. I love your. Every day I go walk, I listen to your podcast, and then when I'm home in the evenings, I watch your YouTube. So you guys are doing it right.
Appreciate it, my friend. Eric.
We'll send you MAPS Anabolic and that recovery guide.
Thank you so much.
You got it, brother.
Easy, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people don't realize is if they've been strength training for a long time, like one hard workout for me is equivalent in terms of stress on my body than like 4 workouts when I was 16 years old. I just wasn't strong. It wasn't as intense. I wasn't hitting my body with the same volume and weight and all that stuff.
Yeah, you weren't as efficient too with what you're doing with those movements. So
this is also an opportunity for the listeners to understand too, like how to know if you have like a really good trainer. Like a good trainer would have him have tracked and given him calories that he'd been doing. I would have looked at the volume of workout he'd been doing before. I would have considered that he's on hormone replacement therapy, and all those things would be like, okay, if I am going to cut calories, I'm certainly not going to ramp up his volume at the same time.
Right.
Where he's already at body fat percent, he's not like super overweight. He has a little bit of belly fat he wants to get rid of. I can easily build, this guy's on hormone therapy. I could easily build some muscle on him, and that's going to lean him out. Like, so there's just some things that you.
Here's a red flag for, unfortunately, the majority of online coaches are like this. This is why we're getting in that space and trying to educate coaches. But they have 2 buttons in front of them.
Yeah.
I want to lose fat. Cut calories, increase activity. Boom.
Together.
Done.
At once.
That's my solution for everything. That's not the solution for everything.
And we try and communicate this, that it's not even the better, faster way. It looks like it in 1 week or 2 weeks.
I lost 5 pounds.
Yeah,
very short term.
But then you hit a plateau, and then you get all the cascading things of sleep and hunger and all that stuff coming.
And then
down.
if you're not listening to someone else who knows what they're talking about, you're just like, I just got to tough through it.
Yeah,
and keep going. By the way, the Overtraining Rescue Guide is actually a free guide that we have. It's at mindpumpfree.com. So anybody can get it. And it's a week of recovery structured to get you back on track.
Our next caller is Charles from New Jersey.
Hey, what's up, man? How can we help you?
How you doing, Charles?
How you guys doing today?
Good, man. How you?
Good.
All right.
Yeah, doing great. So my question is, I can just read through what I wrote, but I just want to say first and foremost that you guys have helped me so much in my journey. I came from a bad place, and now I'm in a much better one, and it's thanks to, a lot of it's thanks to listening to Mind Pump. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, so what I wrote to Doug is I've run anabolic, performance, and aesthetic, and I went from 265 down to 175, which is my current weight.
Wow. That's awesome.
And and I've done a lot of like what you've talked about, the protein, the whole foods, all the things that you guys talk about on here, and it's worked for me. And so with that being said, my question is, now that I've done those programs, anabolic, performance, and aesthetic, where should I go from here, really?
Yeah, that's great. So you just finished aesthetic?
Man.
Yes.
Yeah, by the way, congratulations on your success,
dude.
man.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, dude. So, we have a few programs that I think would be appropriate for you.
I think some more questions though, like what are you into?
Yeah.
Like what do you enjoy
What were
doing?
your favorite things you got from those 3 programs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Just the structure of it all, that was really beneficial to me, because I was like, I just knew the bro workout, like buys and tries and back and buys. And, that's all I knew since I've been working out. So this really gave me some structure to it. And just the guidance from the show, I listen to the show while I'm working out. So that really helps me a lot too, just to stay focused. Do you like learning kind of different movements that are not your traditional kind of bodybuilding to challenge yourself differently? I think really what I'm looking to do is just continue to better myself in the sense of like where I can go in like strength wise and condition wise. And then the last piece of it would be the aesthetic piece, like how I look. I got a good mix for you. I think Map Strong is an amazing program for that.
And Symmetry.
You're going to get, and Symmetry is another great one, Justin. That's a good call. Yeah. God, I'd be torn.
I know.
Strong is fun. You're doing some different movements. You're going to build some great muscle, especially in the posterior chain, your back. Mm-hmm. You're just going to feel very strong and conditioned. Symmetry, very good for balancing out the body. So I could send you either one. Which one sounds more fun to you? They both sound great. The first one sounds awesome. Let's go Map Strong then.
Strong.
Yeah. We'll send you Map Strong, and we'll take and then you know what I'd like to do, Charles? I'd like to hear from you when you're done. I'd like to have you back on the show, and I'd like to hear like all the things that you felt and what worked for you, what didn't work for you with Map Strong, and just kind of take it from there. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Good job, by the way, man.
Yeah.
You're doing great, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Keep it going, man. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. You got it. God bless, man.
Right on.
Thank you. Yeah. Good. Wow.
Yeah.
Great progress.
He definitely listens to the show.
Well,
the red, black, and
reading his
red,
question, because he didn't say some of the stuff that he didn't say on the call, but his question, I mean, he had some struggles.
Yeah.
And he came out of those struggles like in a big way. So it wasn't just a physical transformation. He experienced a mental and spiritual transition or transformation as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to have him back on the show, because I hope he opens up more and talks about it as he goes through Strong.
Yeah, I was hoping he obviously he's talked about the structure of all of them, but I was curious. I wanted him to shed a little more light on what he liked Like, I mean, those are three very different programs.
Yep.
And one of the reasons why I love people doing exactly that is going through all three is like, from a client like this, I would be like, okay, which one did you like the most? Which one did you like the least? Or tell me, do you remember phases
you can prioritize things a little more effectively?
Yeah. So then if I have an idea, because where someone is at with like, at this point in their life, it's like, my goal is just to keep them working out. Like, he's not super body focused. He's not like trying to be a super athlete or anything like that. Like, it's obvious that exercise and the advice we've given has changed his life. And it's like, I just want to keep this guy going. And so finding out what he's enjoying, what gets him to the gym and he's enjoying that's where I'm pushing you. Keep going that way.
Yeah, I'm hoping he likes strong.
I think that was a good call. I think both your advice is great. The only one that the symmetry is like one of the best things that someone could do for them. It's the isometrics at the beginning is always what I'm always a little nervous. Do you have the discipline to
do that 2 week period?
Yeah, to do that 2 week
different
period.
though, and it's
it's so good. Yeah, it's so good. But it's the one that's like, if I have somebody who I'm worried that might not follow something through, it's like, that's why, because of that. But most people need it so bad, so when they do it, they're blown away.
All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. 30% body fat. For men, this is way too high. This is actually a bit high for women as well. So in today's episode, we're talking about how you can go from 30 to 10. What is 10% body fat? This is when you have a visible six-pack. Can you go from 30 to 10%? Yes, it's possible, but not if you guess along the way. So we're going to talk about how you can do that in today's episode.
Now, there's a huge range, right, of like body types.
Yes.
Some people can run a little bit heavier or a little bit higher body.